Good evening. This is Michael Bednar, and this is the voice of the Judeo-Christian left. You'll know why the Judeo in a second. The critical replacement theory and rich Jews. Now, I'm an ethnic rather than a religious Jew. This means that my father was ethnically Jewish and Catholic, and my mother was not Jewish. Now, I was vexed when the Unite the Right got their torches out and yelled, "The Jews will not replace us." It's like, why would I want to replace you? I mean, my original thought was, I have no interest in dating your cousin or your sister. She's all yours, okay? I have since found out that these marchers believe that there is a Jewish-led organized breeding program which has non-whites come to America and go to public schools so that they may date white kids, particularly white girls, and create mixed-race children so that the white race ceases to exist. At the same time, of course, to be a Jew, your mother must be a Jew, religiously anyway, and so my religious ethnicity shrinks even faster than for white Gentiles, although the children of non-white Gentile fathers married to Jewish mothers would still be Jewish. So, does this sound crazy enough yet? It certainly does not reflect the realities of Jewish politics. The main issue in the consciously Jewish community is Israel, especially among conservatives. Now, some conservative goyim believe in Zion so that Jews will be Christianized and bring about the end of time, just to ramp up the crazy. Luther was the first to try this in modern times, although some apostles had to go as well, and for the same reason, end of time, which is why my father's side is Catholic. We would be Lutheran, but for the Treaty of Augsburg. Interestingly, my father was Zionist as well, even though he was not religiously Jewish. He was part of the greatest generation to remember the camps, but did not suffer and die there. I'm not a Zionist, but I'm a liberal Democrat. My father was GOP, as are my Western Iowa cousins, some of whom do not acknowledge or accept the ethnic tag of the name Bednar. It is that second N, B-I-N-D-N-E-R. N-E-R's basically, it's like Berg, okay? My mom was English German Norwegian named Allen, and her father's last name was Diederikstadter Lund, definitely not Jewish. So as a Jew who has dated religious Jews, I have some visibility into their politics. Many are both liberal and Zionist. They don't believe in being converted to bring about the rapture. They are mostly fine with immigration, but not to replace white male seed. Many have married non-Jews and are essentially secular. They do not, many Jewish women, not my former girlfriends. I don't think any of them got married. They do not believe in unionization, and they do believe in unionization and the end of right-to-work laws and government benefits to both minorities and to poor whites. Then there are Republican Jews, both Zionists and non-Zionists. Those that are Zionists have Israel as their primary issue. Think Sheldon Adelson. They are likely good bosses, but they are agnostic on the issue of workers' rights in general. In other words, I don't think Sheldon is a big union guy. They do not believe in critical replacement theory, but do want politics and other Republican voters to support Israel, funding AIPAC. That's the American Israel Public Action Committee, or Public Affairs Committee. I'm not sure which it is. I'm not a member. As Republicans, they look the other way on immigration politics, especially since they hire Hispanics. And actually, they may be against reform because that would make workers, more expensive. Because here's the thing about right-to-work laws, just to take a detour from the written text. Right-to-work laws mean there's an incentive to, you don't have to hire union labor, and that means, you hire anybody. If your union labor was non-citizen, you wouldn't get paid you wouldn't be able to pay any less. If you have a non-union shop, somebody off the books, you make some money on that. I don't know what Sheldon does if he uses subcontractors or, I would hope people would take their actual religion into their economics, but that isn't always the case either. So what does this mean for critical replacement theory? Rich Jews active in politics, as well as the converted, do not believe in critical replacement theory. The Republicans are fine with capitalist exploitation of working class white people. The Democrats believe or don't believe in Zion, but do believe in making life better for working class whites and immigrants. So why should white working class voters, who should white working class whites, WCW, got me for a second, vote with? Let me give you a hint. If you vote for Republican, it is for racial identity, but it is not very much in your economic interest to do so. Jews don't care who you sleep with or marry. There is no such thing as critical replacement theory. There isn't. In both parties, Zionists care about voting for Israel, but for some, this is not an issue, especially those of us who are mixed or younger. But we still believe in economic justice for working class whites. We would rather you not practice critical replacement theory, since this sometimes leads to violence against those of us who go to synagogue rather than mass. And some of us go to both. My wife's cousin converted, and I've been to both her daughters' bat mitzvahs and her son's bar mitzvah. Look up Colburn bar mitzvah if you want to know how Jewish my family is, or my in-laws are. So, you know, they're very Zionist too, but they're also very, very liberal. But my point in mentioning them is that, you know, they have weddings. You know, their kids will have bar mitzvahs and bat mitzvahs, and you know, and members of my family will attend, and I will eventually, you know, I will sometimes, you know, go to just synagogue in generally because I want to get in touch with my roots, but I don't want to be shot for it. Okay. Do not shoot me. Do not shoot my family. Do not shoot people of my ethnic group. It's sad that in this day and age, I have to mention the desire to not be shot. So, yes, there's that. So in both parties, so yes, we do not like the idea of getting shot on the way to synagogue or at synagogue, and this has happened. So if you made it this far, you are rich and you are rich and Jewish and support Republicans, please be careful where your money comes from and where your support goes. I'm talking to you, Sheldon. Those Republicans who vote with you on Israel don't like you and don't vote for their rational economic interests. Please be careful where your money goes, and please be careful who you vote for and support. You know, somebody may, you know, there are people who will shoot you, and there are people who will not give you your raise if you're a poor white person. Yes, you know, your economic interests are not served by racism and supporting things like critical replacement theory. Vote with the Jews, the left-wing Jews, and your life will get better. And we won't, you know, make you date a Latino girl unless you like Latino girls. That's up to you. We don't have an opinion either way. There is no, you know, we won't aim our space lasers at you. I wish you health.